Navi, and I'm going to be talking about my battle with anxiety. The reason I wanted to make this video is for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think that there needs to be more awareness about mental health issues, because for myself personally, because I didn't know a lot about mental health, I didn't recognize for the longest time that I had some problems myself that I could be getting help for. I just assumed that either it's something that everybody went through or that I was just like messed up. So I think if I had known, or like I was more aware of what these different issues are, like what it means to be depressed or what it means to be anxious, then I would have recognized earlier and could have gotten help, and I think it would have been helpful to get help a lot sooner. Secondly, I think that there's a stigma around mental health issues that shouldn't be there, because it makes it really hard to reach out for help, because you feel embarrassed, kind of like there must be something really wrong with you for you to ask, for you to need help. And also it makes people, or like for me at least personally, you wait until it's to the point where it's so bad to actually get help, as opposed to if I gotten it sooner, then I wouldn't have had to hit that point. You also feel like if it's not so terrible that people can tell that you don't need help, you're not at that point. But like Natty talked about in her video, there's a lot of people suffering in silence, and you just don't realize. So even for me, nobody could really tell until I actually told people, and when I did tell my friends, they were really surprised. So I think it's hard to tell, so that's why there needs to be more awareness for sure. So that's kind of why I wanted to help out with this project. So I have generalized anxiety disorder. So what that feels like, panicking. It could be over anything, kind of like anything that stresses me out. So there's nothing really specific. Kind of just the things that matter to me, and there's like a whole list of them. So when it gets really bad, it's kind of paralyzing, because it's all you can think about, and you become so like afraid that you've done something wrong or everything's gonna go wrong, that it becomes hard to even like move or do anything, and you can't really focus because you're just stuck on whatever you're afraid of. You can't enjoy anything. There's like this, for me personally, people have a lot of different like symptoms. It could be like physical or cognitive. So for me, I get this really heavy feeling in my chest. So even if I'm distracting myself in a way where I can't think about it, that feeling is still there. So I still can't like enjoy whatever I'm doing, and it's hard. It's really hard to be in the moment. So basically doing anything just becomes like 10 times harder. First year university is when I can remember actually like serious symptoms. I feel like it was probably there before too, but just not as obvious, I suppose. So I played soccer at York University. So there's a lot of pressure from playing soccer. So I think that's when it actually, like, I remember the symptoms being really present. So I would actually feel panic to the point where I couldn't like stay in the library. I would feel kind of like everyone's watching me, or I just like that really uncomfortable feeling of I just can't be here right now, or I can't do this. So I kind of tried telling like my mom and like my family about it, but I think because there's this stigma, you kind of downplay how hard it actually is. So then it's hard for people to take you, or just because people aren't as aware, I guess it's hard for them to take you seriously, or to realize that there's actually something really wrong. And so I was kind of made to feel like it's normal, or that it's like not really a big deal. And then I didn't really know what it was either, so like I said before, I just thought I was like kind of messed up, or I would try to find things that I could pinpoint it on. So like, oh, this is the problem, that's why I'm like unhappy, so I'm just gonna go fix that. So I spent a lot of time trying to fix like things that I thought would be the answer to me not feeling the way I did, and it never actually ended up working. And I think 3 years after that is when I finally realized that, okay, I've tried like to fix this, and this, and none of it's worked, so I think there's actually something wrong. But then even after that, so I tried to like read about it on my own, but it took me a year to actually seek help. So So I still remember that day I asked two of my friends if they would come with me to go see our athletic advisor. So yeah, it took a long time to actually admit that there's something wrong and that I needed help. So first I saw a psychiatrist. It was a lot of like talking, and it helped with some of the family stuff. I didn't take medication. Then I kind of stopped that for a bit. Then I saw a psychologist, and I did cognitive behavioral therapy, but it was really, really expensive. So I stopped that too because I was getting more anxious just trying to pay for it. And right now, so then I stopped that, but it kind of escalated again. I also have like a lot on my plate, so I'm between like school and work and everything. So right now I'm doing something called Gestalt therapy. I think that's how you say it. I don't know if I can explain it very well, but it's like looking at mind, body, and soul, and it's like you're in the driver's seat, so you get to choose what you talk about, and it's a lot of like figuring out kind of why I feel anxious about things. So I think learning like the root of where all the anxiety comes from is helpful, because then I can start to change the way I think about things. My mom is very supportive, and I have a couple of one friend that's very, very supportive, who I open up to about it a lot. My mom not so much, because she has a lot of stuff to deal with, and I don't want to make her feel bad. She gets really worried. So I think that's also one thing that makes it hard to talk about, is you don't want to worry people too much. So with her, I'll kind of share like half of it, but if it's like really, really bad, I won't really tell her. But that one friend I do. But at the same time, like, it's hard to ever be fully open about how tough it gets sometimes, just because you don't want people to feel really bad. I've been starting to let more people in to know about it, and that's helpful, because when I'm feeling anxious, then I don't have to pretend as much. I can just say like, hey, I'm anxious, so they know if I'm not as talkative, or like I'm not having to pretend that I'm like happy, which I usually am doing. So I think that's why people didn't know for the longest time. So it's helpful to just like sometimes be like, hey, I just need a minute to just not do anything and just sit here, or can you just sit with me, and like yeah. One of the reasons that I think that it's important for people to be able to talk about this kind of stuff is when you do feel like you have to be ashamed about it, and you can't talk to people. So if you're hiding it, it's usually because you feel like it's something you have to be ashamed about, or people are going to judge you. So then it's harder, because let's say I'm already anxious about something. Now on top of that, I'm going to feel guilty for feeling anxious, because like you get told that, oh, be tough or be strong. So if I'm feeling anxious, it makes me feel like, oh, I'm not strong enough, or I'm not tough enough. So on top of what I'm already anxious about, now I'm feeling guilty and like less than good enough for even feeling like that in the first place, even though it's not my fault. Like, nobody asks for anxiety, so I shouldn't have to feel guilty about having it, but like I still do. It makes me feel like there's something wrong with me, that I'm not tough enough, or I'm not strong enough, or a lot of the times. So I'm learning to be more compassionate towards myself, because whenever I do have days where I completely freak out about something that wasn't a big deal, I'll be down on myself again for like, okay, why can't I like fix myself, because I feel like there's something wrong that I need to fix. I guess like I feel like if I'm not to the point where I'm so bad that I'm not functional, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like people see you as either you're like completely dysfunctional, or you should be completely fine, and if you're in the middle, you're just complaining. I think that's what it feels like. So I don't want to be like, it's hard to be that person. Like, you don't want to feel like that person that's just complaining, because you're not completely like not doing anything either. So I think when you're in the middle, it's like tough, because a lot of people make it feel like you're just not tough enough, or you're just complaining, or you just need to like just relax, calm down. Finally, what I'm hoping can come from this is that there's more awareness, and people will talk more about mental health issues, so that people aren't afraid to ask for help or to talk about it, because I think that if people can get help sooner because they're able to talk about it or to recognize that something's wrong, it could possibly save a lot of people. And also just make sure that they don't have to hit that low point in the first place, and that they're getting the support that they need. And also for others to understand how to be understanding of them.
Yeah.
And it just shouldn't be something that people have to be ashamed about. So yeah, I hope that with this video people are more able to speak about it and to understand it.